let's get into this. Because we could just chat forever, I know.
Seriously, yeah.
Hello and welcome to Side Character Quest. This is how I start every episode, with this sort of tone and vibe and general word flow. This is an actual play adventure podcast. What that means is that we get together with a guest. This guest this week is Andrea, and we play games together to tell a larger story. And it's fun and it's a good time. Say hi.
Hi.
We are today doing a session 0 for an upcoming quest. We've already talked off air a little bit about some safety tools stuff. And yeah, this is only the second time I've done a session 0 recorded for SEQ. The last time was with Fiona on the most recent quest that is currently still airing. Mm-hmm. And I found it to be very helpful and nice and pleasant, and I got good feedback from listeners who said they enjoyed listening to this, so I figured we'd give it another shot. If at the end of this we decide that we don't like this for whatever reason, it won't air. You'll never hear it.
We'll never speak of this again.
Yes. Well, before we get into that, Andrea, if you could just tell the listener a little bit about who you are, maybe think like, I'm going to ask you three questions. Questions. Question number 1, if you had to give somebody a one sentence pitch on if you were being cast in a movie, what would be the thing that people would say about you? Like the weird little description people would say to get across what they're trying to cast for, what the character is. Yes, cast. If you were a movie character and people had the one line that described who this character was, not appearance necessarily, but
right.
What type of person they need, what would you give? Question number 2 is, how did you get into TTRPGs? And thing number 3, how do we know each other?
Oh.
I know that answer, but you, listener, you don't know this answer. So.
Oh my God, I was thinking about number 3 recently, and it was such a lovely memory.
Oh yeah.
One is a really great question. All of a sudden, it's like a train crash of how am I being perceived in my head right now.
Oh God, we can also come back to that, or just fully.
No.
Okay.
I mean, it's easy. It's short, non-binary, weird, freaky little creative person who loves dogs. That's gonna go on a tangent about something really random. Likes to be around people. Knows a weird anecdote about history at any given moment.
Wonderful. Okay, cool.
2, Jesus Christ, what was number 2?
Number 2, what got you into TTRPGs?
Into TTRPGs. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, I think that I would have been this would have been my jam if it had been available to me when I was younger. So I think this is one of those things that I would have always been into. It just wasn't available to me. So for some background, I'm a illustrator, I'm an author, I'm a cartoonist, I make books. I love storytelling, and I've always been into, drawing and writing books and characters and all that kind of stuff. But was not allowed to play video games or anything. And being raised,
oh man,
it was considered brain rot. And
yeah,
I played Microsoft Bob when I was a kid. It was the closest thing to a video game. It was just a browser.
What does that mean?
I know. There was a small segment of it where you could decorate your home screen like an office, and I played it like The Sims. You could, change the background. So sad.
I have a friend who has been referring to Wikipedia as the only social media they use, and that gives me the same energy.
Encarta Mind Maze, which I never won. That was also the only game that I had for a while. Yeah, I would be the kind of kid who would buy the board games that looked the closest thing to TTRPGs, a really cool illustration.
Yeah.
And then the game would be very disappointing, and I would just be staring at the cover art being like, I just want to be a wizard. Why? Oh yeah, can we curse?
Oh yeah, you can curse. You can curse.
Motherfucking Clue. Like, what the hell?
Motherfucking Clue.
Promise me a good time of solving a murder mystery in a state and absolutely not delivering. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're on this.
We've talked about this.
You're on this.
I've been trying to make a and by trying I haven't touched this idea in like a month, but I was trying to design a alternate rule set for Clue that would work with the Clue board game to make it the experience that I always wanted Clue to be. So if that ever exists, if that exists already, if that's available for people, I will drop a link in the show notes. It would probably be a zine-sized rule set of some sort. If it doesn't exist yet, tell me if you're interested, because that might give me the motivation to finish it.
I mean, yeah. I'm interested right now.
Yes.
But
well, thank you.
Yeah. And then I guess like I finally moved here. My spouse got me into video games and I loved them. And then a friend got me into Blades in the Dark and Fiasco.
Yeah, Fiasco.
And I started playing that, DMing that. But the first time I ever played any kind of role-playing game, it was, God, I forget what it was. It was some indie one-shot, you know, you're all sneaking around a kingdom trying to be the emperor. And, you know, friends that I have not seen again. And it ended up being this, like, I didn't know what it would feel like. I didn't know if I would be good at it, quote unquote. What is that? Good at it.
What is that? Yeah.
But it was one of those things where I so instantly felt a connection to it and a thrill at it that, like, I found myself surprised at how quickly I was just reaching for shit.
Yeah.
Like, it ended up being, and that's just like a whole other story we don't have to get into. It ended up being this really interesting gender euphoria moment. That was really, really cool.
That's wonderful.
And then I just didn't play again until I moved to Philly, and, you know. But that, you know, Blades was definitely an early touchstone. Got into that via a friend, watching a lot of like Oxventure and like actual plays through that stuff. Then I started running Blades because D&D scared me. I ran that for 2 or 3 years, apparently wrong, and that was fine.
I didn't know how, I didn't realize how much experience you had with Blades, how much that was such a forefront. Blades in the Dark by John Harper. Anybody listening that doesn't know what that is, but you should know by this point. I've mentioned enough on the show. Anyway, sorry, continue.
No. I mean, you're basing quite a lot of the mechanics on it too, so it's definitely coming up. I ran Blades in the Dark for a group of people who really were into the more like what we do in the shadows version of it than like the more grim, which is great. Which is why I think I might have met you, because I wanted to get to know folks in Philly, wanted to join games, and the Philly Game Shop, lovely place in, God, what is it? Society Hill, down on South Street. They have like this questing room that happens every once in a while, and our good friend Ted, who's fucking amazing.
So good. Hey, if you're listening to this, Ted, I know this is going to make you uncomfortable to hear it. You're the freaking... You're such a good GM. So sorry that you have to be sad about the being perceived.
Jesus Christ, I am. So, like, just like met a whole bunch of strangers, did not end up vibing with the full game, but was like initially taken by, oh wow, like this DM is just really fun and knows what he's doing and has a great sense of like role building and pace and just throw stuff out of the hat. And what is the schmeek? And then I think I saw you, the other person who clearly also like was really into role playing. They're at the table to play with, and I put an underline that, other people. Also someone who loves playing support characters. I think we both, that's our jam. And I guess your character was introduced to me standing next to a giant barrel of acid or pickle barrel. You were with a barrel and you really wanted, we were robbing a bank.
Oh God, that was the first session.
That was the first episode. So I met you, you were across the table from me. Your character, you know, in Theater of the Mind had a big pickle barrel, and it was just very important that you be in this barrel at some point. And that's my first impression of you.
I remember that. I don't have any idea why.
What, did you end up keeping the barrel? Was it like a thing?
I think I did. That would have been like my second or third session at that shop. I similarly I had gotten very like isolated, started feeling very isolated during the pandemic, and I was trying to force myself to get out there more and meet people, and so that's why I had started at this this shop, and again, shouting. It was such a great experience. There were so many people there that so many of the players were such delight to play with. There was a sense of ownership of the world, a sense that like people were not afraid to make it clear what they wanted out of a table, and Ted was so willing to accommodate that and like make stuff happen. It was super fun. But yeah, that would have been one of my early sessions playing Linmer.
You already had a trauma. Exactly. You already had a trauma.
I got a trauma my first episode.
Yeah.
Or first session. Gosh, episode. I'm fucking broken by podcasts.
It's an episode. We think about it this way.
Yeah. But yeah, I got a trauma the very first session that I played, very first episode I played. And it was the best thing. Yeah. Man.
Good times.
Anyway, so that's how we know each other.
Yeah.
And since then we've played a fairly short campaign of Monster of the Week.
Yeah.
We also, with again Ted GM'd that. We also are now doing a campaign of Brindlewood Bay that you are running.
Yeah.
Which is super fun. We've only gotten to do one session of that so far, but I'm really excited to continue that. And what else? Have we had any other game? Oh, we've done a Murderous Ghosts, which was such a cool game.
Yeah.
Hey, anybody listening, if you have, I'm going to link to all of these. Hey, Future Ty, link to all of these games that I'm mentioning in the show notes. Murderous Ghosts is a super fun, kind of a choose your own adventure, but not quite game that requires no prep and is a wonderful like haunted house thing that I think you could easily. I think when we did it, we went very auteur horror movie, type of thing. But I think you could also take it in a more Scooby-Doo direction if you wanted. But yeah, delight.
We played a memorable Lasers and Feelings episode when we really wanted to get together.
Yes. Yeah, we did a Swords and Sorcery.
Swords and Sorcery. And we're also like in touch on this like DM chat Discord that we ended up like giving you are so generous with your time with this stuff of like and insight. Like, I'll put a question up and you'll just come back with like 16 points of things that I haven't thought of before and be like, oh shit, yeah, that's great.
And right back at you on this.
We just talk through game playing, game mechanics. There's always something really cool going on that Discord, and I feel like, you and I are pretty chatty on it. So
yeah, it's good. It's a very good space, good time. And similarly, hey, speaking of Discord, listeners, if you want to come to the Side Character Quest Discord, I will have a link to that as well in the show notes. Show notes is going to be like 90% links today. Yeah, so I think the listener at this point knows who you and I are. We are about 18 minutes into this recording, which probably means about 12 minutes in this episode because we chatted a little bit before we got started. How about we get into the actual more Session Zero stuff? Sound good?
Absolutely. Yeah, let's do it.
And this is a place where I might put in a hard cut if I feel like it. Okay. All right, so we've already talked about safety tool stuff. We've talked a little bit about some vague like lines and veils and so on and so forth. Don't need to cover that right now, but moving on. Let's talk about just a quick overview of the system we're using. Anyone who's been listening to the show understands what it is. Andrea, you and I have talked about the system enough that I feel like you know roughly what it is. But the basic idea is this is a forged in the dark system where the better somebody is at something, the more six-sided die they roll. If they end up rolling, if the highest die they roll is a 1 to a 3, it's a failure. If it's a 6, it's a success. If it's a 4 to a 5, it's a mix of those 2. Then you have special abilities that you choose during character creation that allow you to do extra stuff. And that's the gist. I think that's basically what people need to know just to enjoy the show. Yeah, if you have more questions, let me know via email or that Discord that I mentioned earlier. Do you have any questions, Andrea, before we continue, just on that basic brief overview of what game is?
No, I'm excited to get started.
Cool. Working title of that is SEQ in the Dark, because this is something that I have made specifically for the show. I know that's a bad name. Who cares? It's descriptive, and I'm not planning on publishing this, so like it doesn't matter. Now, moving on to the setting of the show. Anyone who's familiar with the show, I know you've listened to quite a bit of it at this point, Andrea. There is a slight time jump that is happening. So characters can have potentially moved around and stuff a bit. There is, between Fair Landing's quest and Sierra Duskstone's quest, there's like a 6 to 18 month gap. I haven't knocked that down super hard, but some time has passed, and that gives some time for various things to have gone on and for me to not have to worry about could X NPC have traveled to Y location since the last time we saw them, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. But general vibes is that this is a place that is historically peaceful. However, there's occasional spikes of localized upheaval. There's currently some widespread upheaval caused by a bunch of animated skeletons showing up all over the place. At this point in the show's history, that is an accepted thing that everybody knows is going on. This is no longer a rumor. This is no longer shocking. I mean, it might be shocking to actually see it depending on who you are, but like, it's not a thing that you wouldn't believe is going on. And the generally accepted explanation is that there are various necromancers going around creating these skeletons and bringing them to life. Mm-hmm. That may or may not be true, but that is what the general accepted public explanation is. And also there are all sorts of people that are taking advantage of this current upheaval for personal gain or for just trying to create change for the good. Who knows? This is just a opening for people to be heroic or nefarious, depending on how they are. Any questions about that?
No, I'm excited about Skelly lore, and perish the thought that people would take advantage of a cataclysm for personal gain. What?
Insane.
I'm glad the Skellies are out.
They're just known at this point. I really enjoyed I really enjoyed being able to play with the idea of how different people reacted to seeing the skeletons for the first time. Mm-hmm. Like there were some characters who were like, now I've got to kill that thing. And then there were other people who were like, oh God, just like absolutely freaked out. Mm-hmm. But at this point, I feel like we've like the listener of this show and myself have experienced enough variety, and I want to move on to the next thing of like, all right, people know about this.
Okay.
So I'm pulling up right now the character creation stuff. All right, character creation. So the different things that we're going to have to do is picking special abilities, which are like the special moves that allow you to do various extra things in this game. Mm-hmm. Answering some questions about your background from a list of different questions in the character creation sheet. Choosing a NPC, non-player character, ally, and rival. And then finally assigning some stats. And also like just generally describing your character.
Right. Okay, great.
I know that you have talked about having a general idea, like a really, a bit of an elevator pitch for who your character is. Mm-hmm. Could you give me like a 1 or 2 sentence just description of the loose idea that you have at this point? If you don't want to, we can go step by step and like just answer the questions as they come.
Oh no. I want to tell you because also I really want your input on building this thing.
Cool.
And because you know this world better than I do, and I'm really curious what because like I know there's some special abilities that don't get a lot of play that might be better to use for some of this stuff. So please chime in and like, you know, steer me if that seems interesting. I'm picturing, I love the idea of somebody who's a local, like somebody who has been long established in a community, not a big urban one.
Okay.
And not necessarily somebody who like never leaves town. I kind of am drawn to the idea of somebody who travels out of town, maybe to other towns nearby or like in a region.
Yeah.
Like visits homesteads, like does a circuit. I feel like itinerant.
Yeah.
But like trade, like, okay, so the vibes I'm getting are local, professional. Jobs are really important to me in making characters. And then, you know, I know everyone's got a different experience with their job, their chosen profession. But it's such a great grounding tool for, I guess, laying out this character's life. So it also is like a really great connection maybe for tying them to the life of a local place, right? Like, who are they? What did they do for the community? I mean, I've talked to you about like a courier, a postal person, a messenger, a traveling like doctor, a traveling dentist, a barber, like somebody, or like, I don't know, veterinarian, like air conditioner repairman. I know there aren't ACs in this world, but like someone who would show up and know a bunch of folks and like do the dirty work kind of thing.
So basically you were thinking character who has like job traveling from small town to small town is fairly well known in their route. I like that a lot. I think that gives me a lot of opportunities to play with plot wise. I don't have a specific, personally, I don't have a specific job that pops up as like, oh, this is the obvious one. So if you are not 100% sure about that, I say we just like continue through answering some of the questions and then see what calls to us.
I love that. The last thing I have is like an emotional vibe that just feels really present. Yeah. Tired. This is like somebody who like is absolutely like early 50s, like not the kind of like if there was ever a chance to be called to adventure, like that was the time was 20 years ago. Like it's not now. And I feel like this is the kind of person who's like looking forward to like the end of their life or retirement. And like, if somebody came and were like, hey, bud, it's time for adventure, I'd be like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, my knees are shit. Like, why? Is kind of the feeling, right?
Yeah, that is fun. That is very good. Okay. I know in the actual like list of character creation stuff, I put at the top the special abilities. We don't have to go in this particular order, but if we do, is there any move that is called to you? You'll be able to choose 3, by the way.
Okay. Yeah. It's been really fun, by the way, seeing how other people have chosen these and the way that they've been flavoring them.
In the little game design thing that we have, server we have, I had a bunch of people create sort of fake characters using this character creation process so I could see what this worked like. So that is what they are referring to right now when they say that.
Okay. I've got several, but there were 2 there's one in Researcher and there's one in Rascal that seemed fun, but potentially game breaking. So I wanted to see.
I love to hear
what your deal is. One is flight or flight.
Yeah.
If someone tries to attack you, you're always able to avoid harm. You never attack anyone else. If you ever do attack someone else, then you will be harmed or captured. Afterwards, replace this special ability with another one or strike out this ability and gain 1 dot into relevant actions. That, I don't know how you feel about combat. So to be clear, I welcome combat and I'm also fine without it. I just thought that was so strange as like as as a vibe. I wonder, has people chosen that one before?
No, but it is one of my personal favorites, specifically because of how once there's a trigger to have it removed and replaced with something else. Mm-hmm. As far as I know, nobody's chosen that one yet, but I think it is a very exciting one. And basically what it means is that like I need to flight or flight, right? If you choose that move, I'm going to know that you are like, for this to be fun, there have to be situations when you could get in combat, right? It's not fun if you choose this and I just never put you in combat. Mm-hmm. But it also tells me I need to make sure any of the combat situations I put you in, it's totally chill if you just reject the combat and just like and just ditch. And I think that will inform the sort of quest I will present you with. And so you asked if I think this is what you're worried about being game breaking. Mm-hmm. No, it's not game breaking. It's game crafting. It is telling me what sort of quest I'm going to take you on.
Okay. Okay.
And it also means like I can set up a situation where maybe you do want to fight back. Mm-hmm. But I know that if I do this, it has to be there has to be a very, very strong emotional reason that I give to you.
I like this.
To really encourage you to do it.
I mean, it sounds like it's encouraging creative gameplay and setting up potentially like a really cool, hopefully, choice
Mm-hmm.
down the road. So yeah, let's fucking do it. If that's
all right. I'm gonna note that down in my scratch pad.
And it's flight or flight, right? Like I can't
flight or flight.
I can't. I'm never gonna remember that. It's always gonna be fight or flight. Like, but okay. So tongues also sounds cool. Like it would make sense in the context of somebody who would be talking to a lot of people, and it just opens up more communication, right? Like the ability to do that is cool, but also that could be, ruling out a really cool constraint of, like what if there is a miscommunication? How do we, Dharmaka Tanagra this, right?
So this is an interesting one because when I play tested this game with our friend Ted, he chose tongues as one of his moves, and early on, we tested it, and it didn't function well. It didn't end up being like a good experience, and so I tweaked it to make it more usable and good. So, could you read out to the listener what tongues says, what that move says?
Absolutely, tongues. You can speak and sign with just about anyone, from Mount Rena to the Salton Sea. If it is possible to be fluent and literate in a language, you are. In addition, add a small copper ring to your gear list for free. While wearing this ring, you can point at someone and silently mouth words at them. As long as you are within shouting distance, your words arrive in their mind as if you were speaking quietly only a foot away. Without a ring of their own, however, they cannot reply.
See, that ring is what I added because when we did the playtest, when all it is that they are fluent, and this is a setting where there's not a ton of different languages, it ended up being like Ted just couldn't think of a way to apply this, and like I had trouble setting up scenarios where it mattered that they spoke other languages. However, being able to essentially cast a D&D message for free is very useful, and I think that's fun and interesting.
Okay.
Also, note for anybody listening, the small copper ring is directly inspired by Mason's character Talbotton, who would finger a small copper ring whenever he would use message during his quest.
Oh, I love that character so much. That was great. So you sent me these instructions like months ago, and it's really funny to me. Like the stuff that I read through that instantly called to me then is so different than what is calling to me now.
Oh, fun.
I think I was very much in a D&D mindset of like, all right, how do I get all the really cool abilities? How do I optimize this? It's not the vibe, but
Yeah.
And now,
I mean, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to make my own game instead of just using D&D all the time, because like the D&D mindset of like character creation just wasn't fitting with the goals I have for the show in general. But anyway, you were saying, sorry.
Oh, you're right. Like I think it opens things up in a really interesting way.
Yeah. When possible, face the microphone when you're speaking, but ish, more towards the middle.
Great. The last one that calls to me, and I am also already picking something else, is Mind Palace Ruins. I need to stop putting disclaimers and things. Mind Palace Ruins is part of Researcher. You know bits of history and lore on just about any topic. Also, you can push yourself to know something about the immediate area that can solve the most immediate problem facing you. For example, you might recall the location of an old fort stocked up with explosives you need. You might know about the entrance to a secret mine that you can hide in, or you might know which local plants can cure the poison you were just exposed to. Now, taken together, all of these like paints a type of picture of a character, right? So that could be cool, especially if that feels like a cool engine for generating more local lore. On the other hand, if I'm already playing this character, I feel like I'm going to try to dive into that anyway. So it might be kind of fun, instead of doing that, to pick something really super random and see how it slots in if it ever comes up. And
ooh, interesting. Yeah.
Like, I don't anticipate climbing a wall at all, but that could be fun. You're really good at climbing vertical surfaces. That's just funny. That's just hilarious to me.
Wall climber.
Yeah.
You can scale vertical surfaces as easily as another person might jog along a path. If you ever fall from a great height, you can push yourself to stop the fall or to land safely. So that could literally be like, you're just like, I'm just not gonna fall. I'm just not. I'm going to. I have something else, and justify that however you will. Like you grab you do grab the edge, or somebody has pushed you off, and you fully grab onto them, and so like they have to like hold you, or you have like a magical thing that like feather falls you or something.
Okay.
There's options there. So yeah, wall climber could be fun. Question: besides flight, you haven't chosen any other ones yet, right? That you're just sort of considering different options, spitballing. Okay, cool. Just making sure.
Yep. Wall climber is cool. I love monster stuff. I love the description of dread. When in other games, I really enjoy playing like supernatural creatures, but I don't feel like it suits this person very well.
Yeah. So for the listener, this game is not class-based. Which means that Andrea can pick moves from any from anything. It's not limited. They can only pick fighter abilities or only wizard abilities or whatever. They have this big list that they can go through. However, I have broken this list of 36 moves into 6 categories to help sort of guide and give a sense of direction if somebody ever needs that. And so they were just referring to dread is one of those categories, and its abilities to help you be strange and unnerving. And some of the moves listed are things like conjure, cryptic form, hain't my problem, nah, I'm good, shocking reveal, and what you got there?
I don't know. I like captivating. Cousin makes sense for someone like this, right? Like it's about people, it's about relationships. Someone who is older, like knows storytelling.
Cousin is one of the categories.
Right.
Yes.
So there's 2 abilities within Cousin. There's captivating. Your storytelling is captivating and endears you to strangers. To have that ability in real life.
Yeah.
When telling a story to a stranger or someone who trusts you, you can distract them from something important, or you can push yourself to earn a small to them favor. And then the other ability is you expect me to buy that. You can always tell when someone is lying.
Yeah. I love those sorts of moves in Blades in the Dark that just throw out like, there's this one very common thing in either role play or in combat or whatever. That's just not an issue for you. You can always tell when someone's lying. You just know. And that is something we just have to deal with now. I think it's such a fun thing.
I like that. Yeah, I feel like you expect me to buy that could be very fun, because once you have that information, how do you act on it? What choices are you going to make around it?
because you could know that somebody's lying, but you don't necessarily know why they're lying. You don't know what the actual truth is. It's such a, it's a potentially very fun one. Also, captivating is also very fun, because I will note, you do not always necessarily have to role play the story that you're telling to somebody. If you have a story, that's great. But if you just want to say like, and I tell the story of blah, 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 that is fine.
Good to know. All right.
Yes.
All right. I kind of, if I really want to do, you expect me to buy that. It also does away with that feature where if you're like, oh, I want to see if they're lying, let me, do a equivalent of an insight roll. And if you eat it, then it becomes interesting. Or if you like kind of get some information, I don't know. I feel like it adds an extra step.
It doesn't necessarily remove that, because you could still do insight roll equivalents, like a study or whatever, or a consort or whatever. But you just get for free that this person is lying, and then you might get something else on top of that.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. Do you want to do that one?
Yeah, let's do that one.
All right. I'm making note of these as we go, and I know you're probably as well. But if at any point you realize you want to go back and change something, that's fine. We're just going to go through, choose these moves, and then we can always come back if we need to.
Awesome. Bounced right off of the faithful skill set.
Another category, that abilities that express religion and oaths.
Says a lot about me. Rascal, researcher, scoundrel. What's the difference for you between a scoundrel and a rascal?
A rascal, in my mind, is more of just a silly little guy. A silly little guy doing silly little things. And a scoundrel is more of a silly little guy that sticks a knife into your gut.
Okay. Who's got a knife? The crucial difference between a rascal and a scoundrel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Oh yeah.
I once had a friend run into me in public and take out a knife and stab me in the gut. This is a real thing that really happened.
What?
And for a moment it was horrifying. And then they stepped back, and I realized it was a fake knife, like a theater knife, that retracted as it stabbed me in the gut. But there was about 5 seconds where I thought I had just been stabbed and just wasn't feeling it because of shock. It was insane.
What? Wait. Whoa. Slow down. How old were you?
So that's the difference between a scoundrel and a rascal. I thought they were a scoundrel, but it turns out they were a rascal.
No, I think they were a dick. That's not a cool thing to do to somebody.
I will say we were like 16 or 17.
Okay, yeah.
I really liked this person, and
still friends with them.
It was fine and good. But there was a different type of person I would be telling this story with a different tone.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It was so shocking because they were such not the type of person to actually do something mean,
Right.
But anyway.
Right. Oh my God.
Rascal versus scoundrel. What was the scoundrel movie you were looking at?
Jesus Christ. This remembers of the time a friend stabbed me in the gut.
Yeah.
Well,
I remember back in my day, we used to get stabbed in the gut every other Thursday. It was called the Thursday Stabbings. You kids these days don't know how to take a proper stab in the gut. You truly just absolutely miserable little children. I hate you.
Jesus Christ.
My misspent youth.
The most tragic character that has ever existed, right there, seen now and only now, never to be seen again.
Yes, because I've good at practice getting stabbed again, and now I'm slowly dying.
Because that's how you knew you were alive.
That's how I knew I was alive.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, I'm a ghost.
Oh, of course you are. Of course you are.
I died when I was only 12. I don't know what happened to you. Sorry.
Did you
I
lose
died
all
when
your
I was...
teeth before you were
Yes.
12?
Well, yes, we also did the Wednesday teeth removal. We did it
Oh.
every Wednesday. We only got to do it like 52 times or however many teeth we had in our mouths. But we did it for a while. It was a wonderful day.
2.
50. Is that how many teeth people have?
Well, I
or is that
mean,
how
if
many
you're-
weeks are in a year?
Oh, that's a good point. I don't know how it works with children's teeth because you get the 2 sets, but
Also, it's sad that the idea of a child dying. I was actually 24. Let me fix that.
we've always, of course, you're 24. We've always been
yes.
talking about the fact that you are like a college graduate ghost who
Yes.
only knew the sweet touch of humankind by being stabbed. Wow, how would someone help you move on? Like, how would that work?
They'd stab me again. That's the only thing I want to experience
know,
another
man.
still stabbing. Could I just possess your body and then let you get stabbed so I could experience it one final time?
Have you? So, quick question.
Yes.
Is this how it usually goes? Is have you only tried stabbing? Has it
Have I-
always been stabbing and trying
Has it
to like?
always been... When I've been trying to move over to the other
Yes.
side, you mean?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so stabbing's
You know,
the go-to.
Stabbing's the go-to.
Okay.
You know, and I've got to say, the other ghosts in this house are not too happy about it because they're all people that were made from trying to help me get to the other side.
Oh, they are.
Yes.
Oh, they must be the people who took out the ad. Okay.
Yes. They were trying to get another person over here so they could help out with the stabbing.
Okay. This is why
Anyway.
they said specifically for someone who thought outside of the box. I see
Thought
what they
outside
meant
the box,
about this
yeah.
situation. We're not going to try stabbing.
Okay.
Just floating that.
I have an idea. Do you want me to throw out this idea?
Yeah, always. Yeah.
I was thinking about trying to role play stabbing, or some other things. You know, who knows? So I thought maybe we make a TTRPG character using a custom rule set for an actual play podcast. Would you like to do that?
Oh my god. I would love to. That
Okay.
has that ever helped anyone move on?
No,
Great.
but you gotta try. I don't know how many people have tried.
You got to make a podcast.
You gotta make a podcast. Most ghosts.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
What was the move that in Scoundrel that you were intrigued by?
Jesus Christ. I liked Wall Climber because it's so random and either it comes up or it doesn't. But
Yeah.
within Rascal, Bag of Sand is also kind of fun. You can always replace an object with another object of a similar size without anyone noticing, at least until you leave the room. This is the Indiana Jones with the sack.
Yeah. Yep. I love also, and can I just point out a thing that I really like about Bag of Sand is you can always replace an object with another object of similar size without anyone noticing, at least until you leave the room. What I love about that is I don't specify the size. It's of a similar size. It could be like a horse, and
Okay. All right, cool. So like, yeah, this is the like children pretend like sneaking out at night and making the shape of their body in the bed with like their backpack and their, like a bunch of t-shirts, but with a horse in a heist. Mm-hmm. I fucking love that. Can we do that just to come up with the objects of what you would use to approximate a horse
God,
in this situation?
if you choose that, I need to make sure that there are situations where this can come up because that's so delightful.
Oh man, future me is going to be so pissed.
Yeah,
about these
if you want, what I could propose. It sounds like you've got like a few different moves you're thinking for this third option. What we could do is like note down the ones that you're thinking about, and then continue on with character creation and come back to choose one that fits based off of the rest of your decisions.
Cool. Let's do that. I
Okay.
think we've got 2 strong ones, and then the third one for either hilarious reasons or for thematic reasons that will be clearer.
Okay. We have hard cut into a new scene, a new step in this process. We are going to do the tall tales. Basically, these are 3 questions that you are going to answer to help develop your character and their place in the world. The first 2 questions come from a list of different options that you have in front of you, and are directly related to the backstory of your character. The third question is a rumor question. So it's more about things that your character might have heard about the world, which I can potentially pull upon to help generate a quest, either for you or for a future player.
Oh,
so it's a little bit of direct world building up from the beginning. What's nice about that, framing it as a rumor, means that you don't really have to worry as much about it not making sense in the canon of the world. You can just be like, this is true. It is true that I have heard this. It's not even necessarily true that you believe it. It's just true that you have heard it. Maybe you believe it, maybe you don't. Maybe it's true, maybe it's partially true, maybe it's a complete lie, but it is a thing you have heard. And I'm describing all of this before we have gotten to that part. So let's talk about the two backstory questions.
Right.
Again, this is broken up into different categories. There's a total of 18 questions to pick from. The three categories there's 6 questions in each of the 3 categories, which are people, adventure, and haunting. One is about more of the community that you have and who you are as a person. One is more about the sort of adventurous, crazy things you've been on. And the haunting is more about like magical and spooky stuff that you might have encountered. So you can either just look through the list and pick something that looks interesting to you, that sparks something in you, or you could roll a couple of 6-sided die to choose from this list.
Oh, lovely. So my guy is, again, tired and travels. So I kind of feel like this is somebody who might have had a brush with, has a pretty ordinary life, quote unquote, as ordinary as human life gets, but might have had a brush with something more potentially exciting a long ass time ago. And it dwells in his thoughts, but like doesn't come up ever. But it just like, it kind of like flickers out of the corner of his eye every once in a while. So like there's 2 in adventure that seem kind of cool.
Ooh, okay.
Potentially 1 in people. And then there's like a real, I don't know if this is too serious one for haunting that would really only work in my head if this was a doctor. But I don't, but that.
I think I know which one that is. Is it number 3? You killed someone?
Yeah.
You killed someone or something important. Why don't you regret it? Who wants revenge?
100% put them out. Like they were going to die, put them out of their misery. Like it was absolutely a mercy killing, but many people or one particular person suspects it does not feel that way. And that makes sense,
Interesting.
That is a hard call. That is, I mean, that's like throwing a stone into a pond, right? Like that's a whole, that's a whole thing. But it is somebody who would make that choice in a certain way. It kind of relates to the wall climber question in a way. I was just going to say, could you, so the text document, if you could move it onto the screen in front of you, just so that when you're like reading it and talking, you will speak a little bit more towards the microphone. Got you. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. So the haunting one, the you killed someone or something important. Why don't you regret it? Who wants revenge? It kind of makes sense if I'm thinking of a doctor or barber surgeon specifically. And the gut take for that is like somebody, it was the kinder thing to kill someone. But of course, like that is also not okay in that. But I don't know. It's a hard decision.
That's a hard decision.
That is a turn. There's a softer one in people, which says, back when the wall climbers were still active, you had a run-in with one of them. What did you do to them and why did they deserve it? And in my head, so the wall climbers are bad, right?
Yes. Wall climbers, quick thing for you and for listeners. Wall climbers are a group of basically like marauders, group of people who... what's the word I want? Like they were dispelled is not the word I want. They weren't happy with their life and who sort of got together to just like cause problems and cause shit. And it started perhaps as a group of people that were maybe they were trying to do something good, who knows? But it very quickly started drawing only people that worked bad people, and turning good people into bad people. And then they went around and caused a bunch of problems. And this would have been around, I would say, like maybe 7 to 4 years ago is when this would have been active. Like it is the biggest bad thing that has happened in like your lifetime, excluding the like sudden appearance of a bunch of like animated skeletons,
which is distracting and
yeah.
it would take the spotlight. That makes sense. Okay. All right. My gut for that was having a run-in with some of them and either like helping that person or letting them go in an interesting way. But if it's only
that's
7
such
to
a different take than I expected.
Yeah,
I
what are you
love
expecting?
that. I don't know. I expected it to be. I mean, similarly, you mentioned like kill someone. I thought it was going to be something about something you were forced to do because this was a bad person. I like the idea that you're taking in the other direction. If there's like a level of mercy, and I don't know whether they deserved it, but it sounds like the question says, why did they deserve it? So I guess they deserve the mercy.
I have to if these are the 2 backstory questions I end up choosing, like no wonder my guy is tired. He's just had a lifetime of making like really hard decisions. That's a possibility. If it's only 7 to 4 years ago, though, that is very recent. Like that is much more not.
How old are you imagining for this character, by the way?
52.
Oh, cool. Okay, cool. For some reason, I've been imagining someone like 40-ish. But yeah, 52. Cool. Human?
So, a little guy. I'm thinking.
A little guy.
I love not playing humans. Gnomes are people or characters in this world, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe a gnome or a bold folk lizard person.
Fun.
One can blend in more.
Yeah. Gnome would be, if you were outside of the Salton Sea, a gnome would be a more just like normal person. A bold folk, so lizard person, outside of the Salton Sea would really stand out, but not in a bad way necessarily. Just you would be very obvious, and people would immediately recognize you as not being from around there, unless they know you and know that you've been around there for a long time.
We've talked about this. A small town, like, oh, that's the lizard guy. Like we know
that's the lizard guy. Yeah,
we know that guy. That's Peter. Yeah, I'm torn between those 2 things. Honestly, because either if you have like an accepted role in the community, either works.
Yeah,
it's more just like outsider. Like if someone's like, "Where are you?" We're like, "Oh, it's the blue guy." Like it's a little easier to find. You can't hide as much. And I feel like that would make things harder. So going into this, I was thinking gnome because like don't be that special, don't stand out that much. That's a kind of hard thing in itself, just to be like a random guy who blends into the background. But if you're like a blue guy with a frill, that's hilarious. That feels like that's going to create more trouble quicker.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Oh, fun. Okay, cool. All right.
Can I be a frilled lizard?
You can be a frilled lizard.
Oh my God, yes.
Okay, I'm going to make a note of this.
Yeah.
Bold folk.
Have you ever seen a frilled lizard running on its 2 legs?
Yeah, it's delightful.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Is that how you run?
Honestly? Yeah.
Yeah, love it. Oh, man. Oh, that works so well with the flight or flight.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Potentially with the like falling thing too, right? Because you can kind of parachute your frill.
Yes, very good. So do you, as far as like the questions, are you thinking?
Let's do one hard one, either that people one or the haunting one, and then let's do something supernatural and strange, right? Like you got lost in the pines for weeks, eventually finding refuge in a bordering swamp town. Who or what was chasing you in the pines? What did it cost you to get away? That sounds fun.
Nice.
Or when you were a child, you stumbled upon some pre-loss ruins. What did you find that never made sense to you? Either of those sound really fun to have that like in the distant past when I was a young man. If this is not a person who's around the pines, then the pre-loss ruins would make more sense.
Yeah. Geographically, I mean, you've presented the idea that this person, we've talked a little bit off air, possibly operating in the Three Brothers mountain range. That would be closer to like that would not be super close to the Pines.
Okay.
But if this happened a long time ago, perhaps you were, that was something from your childhood.
Okay. Let's do the pre-lost ruins. It just sounds very strange.
Oh man.
And I do like the idea of this person being like, yeah, I saw something really extraordinary once. It made no fucking sense. And I moved on with my life from there, like.
Wonderful.
What's a Cuisinart? I don't know.
All right. What do you think it is? What never made sense to you about this? Also, a quick side note, if there's any decisions that we don't make during this hangout, that's totally fine. We can you can make them later. So yeah. And you can also adjust things later after the fact.
Okay.
But yeah, what is something that never made sense to you that you saw when you stumbled upon some pre-lost ruins?
Okay, so what would be surprising if any of us saw most of the things that we see as ruins, if we're like laymen, isn't immediately understandable necessarily, like what is this artifact? How was this used? But I think we all come to the idea of ruins with assumptions, right? Like people lived here, people worked here, people worshipped here, that might make a kind of sense. Like, okay, tools, part of life, whatever. That would never be surprising to somebody stumbling upon them.
Yeah.
What would be surprising would be something from my life, like my current life, but like clearly really old.
Oh, weird. Okay.
That would be strange. Or it's like, I don't know, a floating like Mobius strip, or it's
like just generally like unknowable eldritch thing.
You know what? I like the idea of magnitude with this. The first thing I was thinking of is just the fact that like sports has never made sense to me.
Okay.
And genuinely not trying to refer to something in another episode.
Oh, yeah.
not at all. Maybe it's like subconsciously in there, but like really not trying to drag on that. Coming across some sort of like sport or like gathering place where something recreational was happening, but the implication is like, okay, they were here to do something, not work, not live, like something very specific, but also like this thing seats 80, like this thing seats 100, like what? How, like this would be huge. Like if you see like a little corner of something and being like, if I extrapolate, this would be enormous. Like what?
Gotcha. Oh, that's very interesting. So something literally having trouble comprehending the sort of magnitude of what you have found. Like the thing is like clearly a small piece of a larger thing.
Yeah.
And do you want it to be like recreation sports related, or is it more of just like generally like this is a very large structure? What this is, it is the size that is more throwing you more.
I think it's more interesting in the second one necessarily, because also I would not know that it was sport unless I was like an ancient soccer ball. Like what
the magnitude
is this?
That is notable. All right, I have made note of this. All right, and for the second question, what is the question that you would like to choose? I know you were debating between those two earlier.
Yeah. I don't know if this is a mistake or not, but let's go with I fucking killed someone or
Hell
something
yeah.
important. Why don't I regret it? Who wants revenge? I'm not necessarily a doctor, but like I would have had the tools to do this and made that call at some point. That would haunt me. That would 100% haunt me. Yeah.
And who wants revenge?
Gotta be
A relative,
beloved, a friend, that kind of deal.
Okay, cool. So the final backstory question is going to be the rumors question. This is the opportunity for you to provide some little world building stuff without needing to worry about canon. That is something I will figure out on the back end. And so let me pull up the actual question. Or if you want to read it, if you see where the question is.
Sure, rumors. Answer the question below and share your answer with the GM. What is a rumor that you have heard? This could be something you heard years ago as a child, or something that you heard just yesterday. It could be about your hometown, world history, your neighbors, or a shadowy creature in the pines. Maybe this rumor is a core part of your identity, or maybe you scoffed when you heard and haven't given it a second thought. Maybe it's true, maybe it's false, but more likely it is somewhere in between. Consider this as an opportunity for the player to influence current events in the world, or to provide material to the GM to prompt a possible plot hook. Okay, let me know if there's anything I'm coming up with which already has been established. Be like, no, that's in there. We've already we know there are skeletons wandering the world. If I lived in this world, there's a giant wall that goes around everything like an iron belt. We have certain amounts of technology. The gods have been lost. I have lived a full life. I've definitely heard a lot of rumors. People would definitely talk. It has to be about something changing. I'm of two minds. It's either that we are a zoo.
Oh, interesting.
Or I mean, I think it's just like the enclosures. Like
yeah.
Or I think it's something like there's something in the water. Like something is changing about the water in this area that's noticeable. Okay. Or somewhere in this world, there's like something up about that.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I am going to make a note of, do you feel strongly about one of those or the other? Because if not, I will just write them both and...
No, not really.
Well, we can say, yeah, we'll say they're both things that you've heard.
Okay. I got two. Thank you.
Okay, cool. I think that both of those open up, I can immediately see some possibilities of how I could use either of those for plot hooks.
Awesome.
Let us move on to the next section. Gonna do a hard cut. So, the next section is where you are going to set your stats. These are called action dots. It's like the little dots that you fill in next to your actions. My advice on this is to not be too specialized. I recommend not putting all 6 of your dots in just 2 actions. Because 3 is the most you can have, so you could potentially put all 6 in just 2 of your actions. I also would recommend not being too general in assigning just 1 dot to 6 different actions. I would recommend specializing a little bit. And I have a recommended method for assigning dots if you would like to hear that.
I would love to hear that.
All right. So the first thing to do is to think about 2 activities that your character that you've described so far would be best at. Assign 2 dots to one of those actions and then 1 dot to the other. So for example, if your character is really good at sailing a ship and plotting a course, you might put 2 dots into maneuver for sailing the ship, and 1 dot into tinker for using scientific navigation equipment.
Okay. I am so down to play someone who is bad at stuff. I think it's so fun. Okay, this is a social person with a trade. Doesn't have to be like the best and brightest at this trade. Doesn't have to be like a real friendly guy that everyone likes. Could be like a mid.
Oh.
Yeah.
Could you actually, just for the listener, could you read off the names of the 9 different stats actions?
Absolutely. Okay, so we've got larger, broader category. First, insight. Within that, we have hunt, study, and tinker.
It's more intelligence-based stuff.
Your egghead category. Then we have prowess. That's your maneuver, your sneak, and your throwdown.
Throwdown is like fighting and whatnot.
Yeah. And resolve is resolve. You have your attune.
For more magical stuff?
And sway. So attune is pretty much only supernatural, like magical
Generally,
energy.
Yes. That would just be for magical based things. You can do magical stuff with the other things, but you know, you have experience with Forge in the Dark. You know the flexibility that can come across. Like if you are fighting with a magical object, you don't necessarily have to roll a tune for that. You could use throwdown because, that is the fighting stat.
Cool. I love the people. Yeah, I absolutely would love to sway my way through a fight.
Yeah.
Question: what is people reading? What would that be? That's more a study?
I would think that would be study could count, and sway could potentially also work. Like you were trying to sort of charm them into giving some information. If you wanted to take it in a more like I'm tracking somebody down, it could be hunt. Like you're being really like an assassin might hunt instead of study.
Okay.
But yeah, I think for your character, for reading people, like sway feels a little bit more natural to me. But I think study also could fit.
Okay. I'm still really teetering on this fence between courier and doctor. And those are very different things, but there's no command. There never was any command. No. I'm just crossing that off the board immediately. Sway, let's put 2 dots in there.
Nice.
Because this is a social guy. I feel like maneuver or tinker. If you're a courier, maneuvering could be useful. Like you're picking your way through, a flooded field or something like that. That could be very useful. If you're a doctor, you absolutely need maneuver. You need to be able to do fine-tooled things.
That would probably be a little bit more of the tinker.
Interesting. Okay.
Tinkering is messing around with objects. Maneuver is more getting your body into a different place.
Okay.
But which also could work with a traveler, that's it doesn't not work.
Yeah, that's true. I think again, no sneak, no throwdown, no attune. Just
cool.
Cross those out. But that leaves hunts. Okay, yeah, no hunt. That leaves study, tinker, and maneuver. I think I could just distribute the dots between those things and just absolutely suck at the other ones. So 1 in study, 2 in tinker, and 1 in maneuver.
Cool. The recommended method, in case you want to hear that, would have been think about your character's lived experiences, assign 1 dot to 2 relevant actions, which it sounds like you just did, and then the final dot, so that covers a total of 5 of the 6 available to you. The final option is think about the culture or community that your character would have been raised in, assign 1 dot to a relevant action. So, for example, if your character was raised on a small island community known across the Salton Sea for the strange and intriguing mechanical devices they create, you might put 1 dot in Tinker. So I think that's the only thing that you may not have touched on. However, these are recommended. They are not necessary. So, just wanted to throw that out for anybody listening who wanted to hear how I framed it.
Are we feeling mountain community? Are we feeling traversing is going to be tricky?
I think, yeah. It would be hard to get around there.
I think studying would be part. Okay, if this person is again a courier, I got to decide this now. The skill set is just 2 woods dividing and
too broad.
Yeah. So it's basically just agonizing over moving 1 dot around. The most dramatic errand you could have in a podcast.
Yeah.
Where shall this dot go? Yeah.
Could I make a recommendation or a suggestion?
Always.
So you've been talking about sort of debating, it sounds like, between a courier and a doctor. Those are the 2 options that you're kind of futzing around with.
Basically.
What if you are both, in the sense of let's say you're a traveling doctor, right? And because you're a traveling doctor, people will sometimes give you stuff to carry to another town, and they'll give you they'll give you a fee, or maybe they just trust you to do it, so on and so forth. Alternatively, opposite, you are a courier in this area. You go from place to place. People pay you for that. And because you happen to be one of the few people that will come to these villages, these areas, you might be the most knowledgeable person to come here. And so you just have fallen into occasionally providing medical help. Not because you are not because that is your thing, but because there's no one else.
Okay. Let's do number 2. That sounds fun. I like that.
Okay.
yeah, you gotta learn some first aid.
Yeah.
And like these communities have healers. Like I want to be clear, like the world of midwifery has been always been strong. But yeah, just even communicating, spreading resources, soliciting help, like that is such an important part of like healthcare in isolated communities. That's got to be big. Okay, courier first, doctor on the set. This is a volunteer EMT.
Yeah,
all
totally.
Right. All right, then let's move a dot from tinker to maneuver because that makes more sense.
Sweet.
Okay. I think you'd have to do a little bit of studying no, courier first. All right. Let's have no dots in study, no dots in hunt, no dots in sneak or throwdown, no dots in attune, no dots in command, and then just 2 dots in the remaining ones. So 2 in tinker, 2 in maneuver, and 2 in sway. How does that sound?
That sounds good to me.
This is not a formally educated person. Like,
yes.
Let's keep this guy mid. If it's all right, I want to put the dot back in study. So it's 1 in study, 1 in tinker, 2 maneuver, 2 sway. And I'll stop messing around.
Next thing to think about is what your character's looks/vibes are. So this is I'm just going to ask for like a couple of adjectives basically to describe what somebody might think when they see this person. So it might describe their physical appearance, it might describe the sorts of clothes they wear, or it might just sort of describe the vibe that they put off, like if they come across as friendly or if they come across as unsettling, proud, or whatever.
Yeah. Surah was so striking in this last season. The dramatic baldness of that character. Yeah. Oh my God, dramatic hair. Well, this person has no hair. This person is a frilled lizard. They are short. They are ugly. They are, it's a tired. I think approachable is a big part. This is somebody you would ask directions from. This is somebody who's wearing like utilitarian clothing, who travels probably. So going with frilled lizard, it's not, he ain't blue. Like he's gonna be like kind of like tan colored, like, dun colored kind of guy, like dirt colored lizard, because not one of those fancier like Amazonian lizards.
Gotcha.
I think, and this is somebody whose whole deal is carrying stuff. So there's a big bag of some sort, pockets. Gotta mostly spend his time living on the road, moving from place to place. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he's got a conveyance. I'm not sure if he does. It might make him good at his job because he can maneuver that easily. I'd love to give him an eccentricity. It's not just like this is one person who is his job, right?
Yeah, you can. If you aren't sure right now, we can definitely return to that, and you can present it during the first episode and surprise me with it.
Okay.
I surprised Eli with Billy Blue Tibbs. So I have.
Oh God. Maybe the rumor should be that there's some blue ghost haunting the world. I actually really love that there's like a cryptid, but it is just Billy Blue.
I mean, yeah, and his first quest was in this region, so yeah, that does work.
Honestly, like scrap the zoo, like let's make the blue man.
Oh man.
There is a blue man out there. Maybe a whole group of them. Never speaks. Just hums a strange melody.
Awesome. So yeah, all right. So we've got a general look: short, ugly, tired, approachable, utilitarian, tan-colored, frilled lizard. And the final thing, which again, don't feel like you have to figure this out right now, a name for this character.
Are there any naming conventions in far-flung regions?
I wanted to. I sometimes wish I had like set up more concrete naming conventions earlier on in the show. The short answer is there is nothing official. However, in my head, people often get named in that classic medieval way of taking a name based off of what their profession is or based off of what where they're from. So, for example, I believe that what that would mean for Alton, Mallory's character, Guildmaster Alton of Crumbs, because Crumbs was like the neighborhood that they were from. And I think, given a few hundred years, Guildmaster might function as like a family name, or a Crumbs might fashion as a last name type of thing.
Okay.
In Fiona's quest, the reason Liam's last name is Dabadasha is because I knew I wanted to give him a last name, and I want it to be related to the fact that he's a haberdasher. So Dabadasha is like the haberdasher, but just kind of mushed together. Liam, the haberdasher. Dabadasha.
That made me laugh so hard. Let's name this dude Rumor.
Ooh,
right?
Ooh, I love that.
Rumor.
Oh, that's so good. I can imagine somebody being like, oh, I heard a rumor that there was some bold folk walking around here, and it was like, yeah, it's me. I'm the rumor. That's so fun. I love that. That's a great name.
It is very confusing in a very specific way. I mean, God, small communities and in jokes, right? So like that. Yeah, that would be pretty hilarious. Rumor, gotta have something to do with the frill. I don't know where he's from. Bold folk are not from around here.
Bold folk typically are from around the Salton Sea, but that is a thing that was like, if we were looking 300 years ago, then bold folk would basically only be in the Salton Sea. But it's been a long time, right? And so at this point, people have spread out. And so while the main populations are still Salton Sea, there could be families that have lived elsewhere for hundreds of years at this point.
Okay.
They could be established. It's just much rarer. So you could be like, you were raised in the Salton Sea and you left as a child. You could be like, oh, my grandparents left ages ago and I have no connection there whatsoever. I don't even know the Salton Sea language anymore. That sort of thing.
Yeah, it's very familiar. What about the combination immigrant experience? God, maybe that should be cut unless I contextualize the fact that I'm Japanese American.
Well, there it is.
Yeah, there we go. Context. All right, diasporic culture. So, what if bold folk like him or his group or whatever have modular names? So it's frill, but wherever you go and whatever you do gets attached to it. So if you're like a blacksmith, it's like metal frill. If you're a desert lizard, you're sun frill. But they moved to the mountains like ages and ages ago. So he was born there. He's pine frill.
Pine frill. Oh, that's lovely. I will say, the Pines is a very specific region. So there would be pines there, so you could say pine frill, and it also might be the sort of thing that would like very much fit of like, you arrive in an area, your family like arrives in an area, they're like, oh, we want a name that makes sense for this region. There's pine trees everywhere. Let's call ourselves Pine Frill, not realizing that
you've accidentally
that there's a place. There's the Pines.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so everybody's like, "Oh yeah, you must be from the Pines, right?" And it's like, "No, I'm not. My family has no connection to the Pines."
100%. That is absolutely the thing. I have so many name stories like that in my family. That
awesome.
Works well.
Rumor Pine Frill is so good.
Yeah, is this okay? It's not giving rural juror like
no.
All right.
no. I think it flows very nicely. I like that a lot. Rumor Pine Frill.
Oh, I love it.
It's a very good. It's very. I'm not a big fan of the phrase cellar door. I don't think it actually sounds that good. But this does have a very good like. This has the mouthfeel that I want cellar door to have.
Oh, Oh,
Rumor
wow.
Pine Frill.
That's really cool. Thank you. Donnie Darko would have been a completely different movie if this was the touchstone. Rumor Pine Frill. It's also not like, this is not a like Legolas, like you are named for glory. This is a Russell.
Yeah.
Like this is a rounded name. This is not a Sophia. This is a Sal. Like that kind of. Yeah.
I love that.
I love that so much. Pine Frill, Rumor. Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Let's do it.
All right, so you are a person named Rumor Pine Frill. You're short, ugly, tired, approachable, utilitarian, tan-colored frilled lizard, roughly 50 years old. You have one in study, one in tinker, two in maneuver, and two in sway. You've heard rumors of something changing with the water and a blue man in the woods. And you killed someone out from mercy, but their relative or beloved has not forgiven you. When you were a child, you stumbled upon some pre-lost ruins, and the magnitude of them was not understandable to you. That's a very fun thing for me to play with. I like that a lot. Mm-hmm. And we haven't talked about NPCs yet. A friend or a rival. Well, let me before I get into NPCs, I'll finish this rundown of your choices so far. Special abilities, you chose flight or flight. You expect me to buy that. And you had a set of ones that you were considering: Mind Palace Ruins, Bag of Sand, or Wall Climber. Does one of those jump out as like, oh, obviously this, now that you've had some chance to think?
Going through and defining the rest of the character before choosing the rest of this was absolutely the way. Let's do Mind Palace Ruins.
Oh, fun. Okay, cool.
And it is Mind Palace Ruins. You know bits of history and lore on just about any topic. Also, you can push yourself to know something about the immediate area that can solve the most immediate problem facing you. For example, you might recall the location of an old fort stocked up with explosives you need, or you might know about the entrance to a secret mine that you can hide in, or you might know which local plants can cure the poison you were just exposed to.
Nice. So I'm going to make it very clear. Bits about lore and history and lore about just any topic. You can remind me sometimes when something is going up. I may just give you something for free. If I don't give it to you for free, like where you could get this resource, that's when you could be like, actually, Ty, I do know. But don't feel like in order to evoke this, you have to push yourself. You have to spend stress. You can still evoke this without spending stress. It's just you'll have to spend stress when I don't cave immediately.
That sounds stressful. That makes sense. I like the idea of this also. So I'm playing Legend in the Mist right now with Ted, and weaknesses are a big part of that game. I like, clearly Mind Palace Ruins is a strength and a skill, but I also like the idea of it being a weakness of like, well, because I've heard about X, Y, and Z, I assume A.
Yeah.
No, it's totally A. Absolutely, there's a blue monster in the woods. Like,
and I mean, using this specific example of, like, you might recall the location of an old fort stocked up with explosive you need, and suddenly you're gonna go there. You're gonna go get these explosives. Also, other people have found this place. Now you have to deal with that. I like the way that these that moves in Forge in the Dark games. They seem at first like they are just giving the player an ability to wave away a problem, but the reality is that they function as like their own little mini plot hooks. They set up other issues. It's very fun, the cascading effects of Forge in the Dark moves. All right, next thing is a friend and a rival. So basically you're going to be creating a NPC that is some way tied into your backstory, or it could be somebody, it could tie into one of the things you've already established about yourself, or it could be brand new. Let me go to exactly what I say in the book. All right. Imagine someone you might know in a community that you are connected to, or some neighboring other social groups. You have a positive relationship with them. But how do you know them? And what role do they play in your lives and in the lives of others? You're going to give them a role and a tag. If you want, you can give them a name and also a short description. Anything that you don't supply, I will fill out later. And I may pull in a pre-existing NPC to fill this role, or I might, make somebody brand new. But yeah, the only thing you're required to give is like what their role in society is and giving them a tag. So, for example, from Fiona's quest, the character that she made, Jacques Pescarin, was his role was assistant, and his tag was overly keen. So you could do something like that, where it's more about their personality, or it could be about a skill they have. It could be about an arcane thing, that sort of stuff.
Really keen. That was so good.
Yeah, that was very fun to work with. I liked that.
Okay, I'm thinking of, this is a person who travels a lot. They have a circuit. They're not necessarily going to be like spending a lot of time in one place, except I'm guessing during the winter, like or if there is a winter.
Yeah.
Is there a winter?
Also, I'll note, quick note. This doesn't necessarily have to be somebody, quote unquote, in your party. This could be just somebody that you know. Is there a winter? Weather in SCQ's world is generally stable. It's generally just like kind of hot and muggy-ish. It varies between more spring, summer, and early fall. However, there are like storms that will go through and make a place very winterous for a while. And those storms usually are just like coming through for like a couple of days, but they might last they might sit around and stick around for a while.
Okay.
This has never come up on the show, but it is a thing that I have known for years, but I don't think that it has ever explicitly been said in the show.
No one's ever talked about the weather. That's good.
Not in the sense of like, are there seasons?
Yeah.
Just in the sense of,
That's
what is the current weather?
I mean, like no one's defaulting to like idle chit chat defaults. And okay. So this guy, not an adventurer. I mean, he's lived a life. His friend should be somebody who's roughly the same age, but
ooh, fun.
Has actually seen shit. Like actually is like a retired adventurer, like someone who's much more capable, like vastly more capable than him once upon a time, but now has a job and has basically like retired, raised a family, has kids, like that whole thing. And I feel like I'm getting like, I don't know about that. Like somebody who like runs a diner or cooks somewhere, like maybe doesn't even own it, which makes sense, right? Like, but it would make sense maybe for my guy to like rent a room above it. Cause you what's the all night diner? You go there, you arrive at all hours. If you're spending time in a town and you don't have a house, where do you spend all your time? Cafe. Like where do you find people? Where do you like get gossip? You would set up like in a little corner of a eatery like that if they have them. Like that would be
nice.
So the equivalent, the whatever this world is equivalent of a diner, like either the cook or like the owner there.
Gotcha. Cook or owner of equivalent diner of an inn, I guess. I feel like there should be a more like a more early American sounding thing, but I guess that probably is what you would call it.
I was watching a whole bunch of like unnecessary YouTube videos about like the history of like medieval inns and what they would look like and stuff like that. And a lot of it's just like someone's house. It's not like the fantasy, like, well, we have the equivalent of a hotel.
Yeah.
It's like, no, this is just a person's house and they have put the sign outside their house that says they are brewing beer today. So everyone knows to come by. Or everyone's sharing a room. Like you don't get a room. If you're a traveler, y'all sharing like the floor, like in the middle. But that's medieval Europe, like whatever.
I feel like it has kind of been established in previous quests that deeper into the Brothers Mountain Range, the idea of like couriers, the idea of people moving from town to town is a pretty normal established thing, because now there wasn't before. Before, these towns were like totally isolated and were totally cut off. And if something bad happened somewhere, then they were just screwed. It has become a more common thing to have these connections, these routes of just like people going from spot to spot, helping out wherever they end up. And I like the idea of there being, you know, a couple of spots along these larger routes that you just know, like, oh, I can stay here because because that person's chill and they're cool and they can help me out. So role is cook or owner of a inn type of thing. I'll come up with a better, more concise way to phrase that. Tag. What would be a good tag for this person? Feel free for it to be about their personality, about some unusual skill that they have that is related to what they do or is completely counter what they do. Maybe it's related to the fact that they're a retired adventurer, so it's like some skill they developed back then.
Yeah. This is somebody who is flashier, I guess. I mean, I don't know how they feel about being in this job. They're probably okay about it, but they like genuinely did live like a full and expansive life, for better or worse, before, and saw lots of places and lots of people, and probably has a lot of stories. Like, this is the person that if you were to ask Rimmer, like, oh, like, we have a quest, or there's an adventure, or like, there's the blue man has come quick, like to the ramparts, it'd be like, well, we gotta go get this person, because like they'll know what to do. Like, they absolutely like are the expert here. I am the substitute teacher. I will warm their seat until they get here, and they better get here, because otherwise you are stuck with me, and that is not a good call.
I like that.
Do you need a name? Are you coming up with a name? Are you putting?
I don't need a name. I'll figure that out later. I might pull from listeners or something.
So flashy, like let's contrast that with my ugly lizard.
Oh, okay. Just straight flashy.
Yeah.
I like that. Just for fun, I'm gonna modify this slightly. I'm gonna say the tag is arcane flashy.
Okay.
So
like it.
they got some magic stuff.
Great.
No,
great.
I'm gonna put flashy as the primary, and then like I'm just gonna make a note to myself that it is both, that I'm both referring to arcane stuff and not.
There's a cheeky little asterisk just like somewhere got here.
Exactly. Because the way that I had written it this is not important to anyone but me. I'm the only one that's going to see these notes. But the way I had written it made it look like the only thing flashy about them was their magic. And I don't want to imply that.
Got you. No. Okay, cool. I love this idea as just another, entry point for something not in this guy's life to enter the story, because he's not super magical. So this is another potential. We love specificity, Ty. Never apologize for that.
The next thing that we want to get is basically the exact same situation. Somebody else that you might know from a community that you have some connection to, who you have a negative relationship with. This could be somebody that you are just like a friendly rivals with. It could be somebody that hates your guts. It could be somebody that hates your guts and wants to spill them. Like this, there's a wide range available here. And similarly, I just need a role that they fill in society, and a tag, and if you want to give a name and description, you can.
Okay. Contrary to what would be expected here, this is not going to be the person associated with the person that killed. I think this is a fellow courier.
Gotcha. Ooh.
Like, absolutely. Somebody in the same there's got to be more than one. We have sick days, like, there's got to be like, you need several folks. And I was thinking the other day, like, what could be really fun in courier lore? Like, how would you carry messages? And I feel like a shorthand would be really important. So
Yeah.
you have some sort of encryption. And
Oh,
there'd
that's
be,
really good for your thing. Oh, I love that.
right? And like,
The tongues ability.
oh, I don't know if I've got tongues. Not
Oh,
sure
did
if I
you not
took
take that? Okay, well, whatever.
I could switch that with the lying thing. People could lie to me.
I I don't want to force your hand on that. I think that the lying one is super super fun. So that was just me misspeaking. If you decide later at any point that you want to swap anything around, feel free. But I want you to end with the thing that you are most excited about.
Let me think about tongues or accepting to buy that and figure out what would be funnest.
Yeah.
I'd imagine that there would have to be like pretty strict professional codes with being a courier.
Okay.
Because if you start messing with the stream, no one will trust you.
Yes.
Right? Like this is a potentially like really important and sensitive thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, a combination like delivery person and I don't know, rumor monger. I don't know what the tag of this person was. I feel like my character would always refer to them, and it doesn't mean that they have to have this gender, but as like a real son of a bitch. Because everyone at that age knows one, right?
Yeah.
Like everyone knows someone in their profession is like, oh, he's a real son of a bitch. No, that could be said with affection. That could
Yeah.
be the like, Craig, he's just a real son of a bitch. Like
Yeah.
we don't get on, but like we have a certain professional respect. Or it can be the like, Angie is a real son of a bitch. Like you cannot trust her. Like that kind of vibe. I don't know which one.
I'm trying to think. I want to make sure that I have a sense of how I might apply this, because if you wanted it as a tag, let me just think about that.
Yeah, that's just the opinion of someone. It's not actually their.
Because my one worry about that is it sort of frames things in a way, unless you get a little bit more specific,
Right.
it only is really telling me that this person fits as the role of the rival.
Right.
It doesn't really give me something more that I can potentially pull upon when thinking of how this person might act, or when I'm deciding how to allocate roles and stuff.
How about well connected?
Ooh, fun. Okay,
Like
well
they are
connected.
from, their family has been here forever. Like
Gotcha.
it has spread. So like has roots everywhere,
Yeah. Has roots. You know what I'm going to write? Because I feel like this is just a fun, kind of poetic way of putting it. Roots run deep is what I'm going to write as their tag.
I love that.
I'm noting the well-connected bit in the larger description I'm putting, but yeah, roots run deep. All right. Cool. Okay, so I think we've got NPC, ally, and rival. We've got your stats. We've got answered those backstory questions. We've given you your moves. We know generally your looks and your vibes. Name, rumor, pine frill. That's so good. I think that pretty much covers everything we needed to get through today. I'm going to percolate on this and come up with some sort of adventure plot hook to take you on in a few weeks. But I think that's pretty much it. So, as we come to a conclusion, Andrea, is there anything you would like to share with the listener out there, listener at home listening to this? What do you want to tell them?
You mean in some sort of plug capacity?
In some sort of plug capacity, or I mean, it could just. I've asked people this before, and sometimes they just say like a motivational speech. So feel free.
You're doing your best. Just
You're doing your
going.
best, guys.
I mean, we all need that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I would be remiss not to plug my own books.
Yeah.
So I make them. The two most recent ones that came out this year that I illustrated are Pop Goes the Nursery Rhyme by Betsy Bird, illustrated by myself. It is a crazy mixed up nursery rhyme picture book. And the other one is Embarrassed Ferret by Lisa Frankel Ridio, illustrated by me, just because the theme for that year was absolutely mustelids. And
Yeah.
yep.
I love it. My sister managed to grab one of your signed copies from somewhere, which is nice.
That's so cool.
But yeah, Hey, listener, Andrea makes really great art. I will link to it in the show notes. I will link to these books in the show notes. So please check them out if you are ever looking for a children's book. You've also made a bunch of cool old zines and stuff. So yeah, those also exist out there, but I'm not going to link to them right now, but maybe I will in the future. Unless you would like me to. I don't, but I don't know if there's any way to it. I don't know if there's any way for people to get a hold of that.
All the comics stuff is up on my website. So if you just find my extremely Googleable name, like you'll find all that stuff. It's up there.
Cool. I will include a Google search. I won't. But anyway.
Thank you, Ty. That is very sweet of you.
Yes. Well, with that, how about we go ahead and pitter patter on out of here?
I would love to.
Pitter patter, pitter patter.
Thank you to the Droid Drops for the use of Not Drunk as our intro and outro music. Thanks to all of our guests, and thanks to you for listening. You can find us and say hi over at sidecharacterquest.com or by checking out our show notes for more links and information. If you're enjoying the show, drop a rating or review wherever you listen to podcasts, and we'll see you around. Bye!
Oh, hey! Do you want to find out more about tabletop role-playing games, but not too sure where to start? Do you want to play a lot of different systems, but don't have time to try them all? Do you just wish someone would summarize what the main game mechanics are so you can follow along more easily? Well, you're in luck. Check out What Am I Rolling? A twice-monthly RPG one-shot podcast, hosted by me, Fiona. I like exploring different RPG systems, rule sets, and the stories they create. I also like talking to game designers about how to run their games. So, come check it out. We would love to have you. The What Am I Rolling podcast, available wherever you listen to podcasts. Part of the One Shot Podcast Network.
There'll be like a little music playing and then bloopers.
All right. I have started my recording. Say something for me?
I am very happy to be here.
Excellent.
It's cool to see more of your like office art stuff going on in the background too.
What do we got over here? I'll just point some things out.
Oh, chicken. Nice.
That is a photo I took of New York. You can't really see it because of reflections from the monitor. I found this on a street corner. That's a little death tarot card with Edgar Allan Poe on it. That is a screen print by Morgan Spatola, who sent it to me. They were inspired by Silas's arc. It's a very cool thing.
Nice.
Sort of a humanoid deer thing.
Yep.
This is a scratch off list of national parks that I've been to.
Oh, cool.
Then we've got a character that I played in a long D&D campaign. Extra is his name. You can just barely see. There's
Is Extra a construct?
Extra is a Warforged. Yes,
Okay.
He's a an actor. So he, yeah, he's an extra.
Yeah. Oh no.
And let's see what else. We've got this little like chicken made of wool that I got in Ireland. And what else we got up here? We've got this thrift store embroidered duck scene, which is nice. A fly made of stained glass.
Oh.
And then Jonathan, the lizard folk from like episode 97 and 98 of SCQ, I think.
Yeah.
And the only other one I think you can see from this angle is that little chipmunk photo I took.
Okay.
So that's what's up
I
on the
like
wall
that.
behind me.
It's cozy.
Yeah. Oh, I think I might have turned my camera off. So that'll end up in the bloops.
What?
What?
Have you done a home like tour before?
Well, I mean, definitely not. I just moved in here.
Right.
This is the second thing I've recorded. Oh yeah, because I was recently on an episode of podcast called D and Dark. They do like the host does little interviews of other actual play and TTRPG creators in addition to their normal actual play episodes. And so that episode was the first thing I recorded in the space.
Oh, nice.
And I did not have things on the walls during that recording, I think.
Okay.
So this is the first time I've had a chance to point these things out.
I love that. You know, for an audio medium, it's good to point out things that no one can see.
Wonderful. That's why it's going in the bloops.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into this.
Mm-hmm.
Because we could just chat forever, I know.
Seriously.
Yeah. I will say, it's funny that you say that I know there's not ACs in this world. In Fiona's quest, I describe a little bit of this cool breeze going through this fancy person's house. Mm-hmm. And if you like listen to the audio in the background, I do use an air conditioning sound. My idea is that it is like arcane implements that have been like set up in this person's fancy home to give him central heating. It's not like a mechanical thing that's going on.
It's magical. Okay.
It's magical. So you could conceivably be an AC repairman.
I mean,
but it would be that would be for a very the idea is that is a very expensive and new thing.
I love that. I mean, if there's magic in this world, of course the first thing people are going to do is control thermostat, right? Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Professor Tucker, who had the sort of lighthouse in Mount Rena, he has like a magic radiator that also goes off in the background just to keep things like nice and toasty for him.
I feel like there could be a whole subsection of like, what are the like technological devices and like home improvement like HTV for side character quest.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you another one. The E.S. Ogden is the paddle ship that some of the characters ride at one point. I don't remember which quest this is, but it is an evocation ship because it is instead of being like a steamship, they've got this thing that is like creating like the heat through arcane implements in the engine that like move everything around. So like it is magically powered, but it's not like a direct magical spinning this wheel or pushing the boat. It's creating a combustion with magic to creating a powering a combustion engine with magic instead of with whatever, with charcoal or whatever.
I mean, if you've got that, you could get a Ferris wheel. There's lots of interesting implications there.
Yeah.
Huh. Oh,
but anyway.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's cool. So, I'm enjoying this. I mean, it sounds like it's encouraging creative gameplay and setting up potentially like a really cool, hopefully, choice down the road. So yeah, let's fucking do it. If that's
all right. I'm going to note that down in my scratch pad that you have chosen flight or flight. Flight. I capitalized both the F and L in both of those. I don't know why.
And it's flight or flight, right? Like I can't
flight or flight.
I can't. I'm never gonna remember that. It's always gonna be fight or flight. Like, but I mean, I love the like, Andrea. What special ability will choose? I'll take the trauma reaction. I'll just like exponentially do that one. Whatever that one is, let's do that one. We'll do that.
Wonderful.
Oh my god. I mean, originally I think you had me do like a fake the tested system with like making a character, and I hadn't listened to Side Character Quest at that point, and I think I made like a magical cursed gingerbread man.
Yeah.
With the voice of Matt Berry, who really wanted to be a Broadway star. And you're like, cool, but not exactly the vibe.
Not exactly the vibe. I was like, no, this is good. I like where your head's at. And I like that the system like supported that. Something that was so out there. But yeah.
Maybe he's out there. We don't know. He could be in this world. You know?
Truly are the most gingerbread man in Mount Rena.
Of course you have a Matt Berry voice. Oh my god. Yeah, let's see how many voices I can prompt you to use. I swear to god, I should have seen it coming. I told you this, but when you like burst out with the Gilbert Gottfried impression, I almost spit water. It was like, oh, of course, that's why that guy is named that way. Okay.
I just realized that in the recommended steps that I have, there's a I distribute 7 points instead of 6.
Are there supposed to be 7?
No, there's only supposed to be 6. That was just a mistake I made. Okay. I'm going to fix that in the notes. 1 second. Because the final recommendation that I have listed is to look through the thing and basically be like, does it feel like something is missing? Does it feel like when you're looking at these stats and you look at the vibe of your character, does it feel like they should have one more in something? Add a dot there. But that would bring it up to 7. So I need to change the wording in this game doc. I remember when I was writing this out and I gave it to somebody, their first advice was like to put the part where you choose the name at the front of the character creation, because they're like, well, you've got to have a name. And that is never, like, it is always the last thing I think of. So it's just interesting seeing the order that different people approach character creation. I've built this out in a way that is roughly how I tend to think about it. But other people can do it in other orders.
I love that. Who would this guy be friends with? Who would this guy chill with? Well, I think we know our answer. It is the cutest cat in the world, Jellybean.
Jellybean has just shown up. Hey, Jellybean. He's purring.
Does he ask to be picked up?
No, but he does walk over, and he does not argue when I pick him up. So I don't know if that's I don't know if he just knows that he doesn't need that.
I feel like that's a sign.
All right, I'm going to stop the recording.